Welcome back to the WrightPassion podcast, where we delve into the fascinating world of superheroes. And in this episode, which has been a while, we're delving into the superhero Daredevil. Daredevil, the man who used the dark to shape him. Daredevil is one of my favorite superheroes because he is different. He's not your stereotypical superhero. He's a blind man that has enhanced. I just forgot what I was gonna say. He has enhanced senses. He is an amazing superhero that teaches us transformation. Grit. Why I keep forgetting stuff? He teaches us transformation, grit, resilience, and then growth under pressure. All of these things are the things that make Daredevil the superhero that we come to know, love, and enjoy. So let's sit back. Let's dive into Daredevil and his overall story to see what we can learn from him and how we can use it to grow not only ourselves, but to also add to our purpose. So we're not in this world trying to be someone who we're not. So into Daredevil. Number one, or step number one, transformation usually happens when you're not ready. Matthew Murdock, who was he? Matthew Murdock was a young boy living in Hell's Kitchen with a single father, single dad, and no safety net. His father raised him to live on standards. His father went by Jack Murdock. So he was a boxer that fought for money. And he didn't want his son, he used to call him Matty, to be doing that. He wanted him to be book smart and in something that would give him some money without using his fist. So Matthew Murdoch just ended up going to school and learning to become a lawyer. He was trying to study to become a lawyer. And this made his father proud. He did this day in and day out. He was very book smart and everything was on up and up until one day. One day, Matthew Murdoch saw a man about to get hit by a truck, and he didn't know his truck had radioactive waste. So he rushed out to stop the man from getting hit. He pushed him aside, but in doing so, the truck spilled all the radioactive waste, and then it ended up blinding him. He was blinded, and his father came to his defense. And just in a nutshell, he was not able to heal his blindness. He was blind and it was horrible. But he learned a lot of things. He learned that his other senses started to sharpen, his sense of taste, touch, and he also developed this radar sense. So, in essence, he adapted. He didn't change or get his sight back. Rather, he redesigned how he saw the world. This helps us a lot because sometimes things happen to us. We might lose a loved one, we might lose a career or a sense of ourselves because of this huge event or this unforeseen circumstance. But it can build you because what we see from Matthew Murdoch before he became Daredevil, he saw that old maps don't work sometimes, and walking harder doesn't help. Instead, design a new map to navigate the world. And he did that. He made the world in his own image. He was able to walk and see through his radar sense and his other heightened senses. So sometimes we might need to do that when we go through life and see certain circumstances transform us. You can't walk this life how you used to when you were 5, 10 years old. You have to change. Just think of it like that. As you're growing and becoming the person you're supposed to be, you change. And with that change, you can make it easier if you find new paths and make new paths, or it'll be harder because you'll try and still use the same old map that you were using when you were younger. So choose the path that makes this life easier to navigate. And this led to the next thing, which was grit. Grit helped when motivation didn't. Grit is one of the things that helped Matthew Murdoch become Daredevil before the world even knew who Daredevil was. He became the legend before the world knew who he was or saw anything. This came from quiet nights of him getting beat down, endless reps, and just consistently showing up to learn with his mentor Stick despite not wanting to. Matthew Murdoch ended up finding a mentor named Stick, and Stick was a blind man too. Stick helped Matthew to actually learn how to navigate the world and how to exist and defend himself while less being blind. Now, Stick was an amazing mentor. Was he the best for him mentally and emotionally? Probably not, because Stick didn't give him that he didn't give him that puppy dog love. He gave him tough love. But this grew Matthew Murdoch. This added to his grit because he started putting endless reps in, multiple reps in to build that legend. It helped him to grow into the superhero that we know about today, because in the dark he was building someone who he wanted to be, who he respected and needed when he was younger. So when it came to the light, everyone saw. And that's what we have to do sometimes. Sometimes having grit and just the ability to work even when we don't feel like it helps out a lot. Grit is a thing, and discipline are the things that show up every day. They help you out. Discipline is like the dog. It shows up all the time. And then there's something that follows it, which I'm going off topic, is something called a cat. A cat, or the cat, is confidence. Confidence shows up with the grit that you're piling up. As you keep becoming more disciplined and using that grit, become more confident in who you are and what you're becoming. And this is what Matthew Murdoch was building right before he became Daredevil. And the next thing is something that really shook Matthew Murdoch: loss. Loss that shakes you to your core. His father, battling Murdoch, had a fight that he was going to go into, a boxing match. And he was going to get paid a lot of money if he threw away this fight. So his dad thought about it and thought about his blind son. He didn't want him to see him go out like that. So he did the unspeakable. He won the fight, threw away everybody who's betting on the fight for him to lose, and ended up losing his life too, which was sad. And this hurt Matthew Murdoch because that was the only person who he had in his corner. He didn't know his mother. He had his father and no safety net. But that helped him because he saw that loss doesn't define you. It's what you do after it. And it was tough. It was very, very tough for him because at first he didn't want to do anything until he met his mentor, Stick, who helped him use that gift of pain to create something. And I'm not saying or putting that out there for anybody to do that. I'm just saying the loss is what defines you. And it might be loss of a parent. It might be you may have lost. I mean, sometimes on your darkest days when you lose someone or something, loss can come in different phases and ways to you. And utilizing sometimes loss changes you and it's very hard, but it's what you do after the loss that defines you. Daredevil used it to grow. Well, Matthew Murdoch used it to grow the legend that we know today as Daredevil. And sometimes when you feel like you can't do anything and you still try, at least try, that's when you're growing that legend of who you want to become. And it takes time, it's not fun, and you have to find the right people and that help you along this journey. But if you use the loss and see it as a way to honor that person or whatever you lost, honor the thing that you lost, you can become amazing. And that's number three: resilience. Resilience requires a code. And this is This is where Matthew Murdoch just started to, resilience requires a system. This is where Matthew Murdoch's system came into place because he knew every day he wasn't gonna feel motivated. He knew every day he wasn't gonna want to train, especially not with Stick, because Stick was not the best mentor. But what he did do is develop a system. His system required him to show up whether he was angry, tired, hungry, or didn't feel like showing up. And this helped a lot because this system was a smart cut. It was pre-decisions that built his identity. Even on his worst days, he was still becoming the superhero we know and training to be Daredevil. And this helps out with all of us. When you build a system, whether it's big, small, huge, whatever, it can help you. Well, I say small because you want to take small, consistent steps. That's another idea. But when he took those small steps towards becoming better, he grew. Think of it like this: instead of a long, drawn out hours of work, do short loyalty tests, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes here or there. Keep doing it each and every day. And you'll see that as you get good at mastering doing something positive and productive for 10, 20, or 30 minutes every day, you'll build that want. You'll want to start going longer in whatever it is you're doing. Maybe learning an instrument, cooking, or any positive ritual or habit you want to start. You just start small. You can watch as it just catapults into something big. That's what he did every day with becoming Daredevil and a lawyer. He put the time in and worked on it continuously, day after day after day, and became better. And that was this. Thereafter, it leads to the third. Thereafter, it leads to the next point. Growth under pressure requires a code. Matthew Murdoch sat down with himself and he realized one major crucial thing. For him to grow, he needed to, and growing under pressure, he needed a code. He needed a code so he wasn't cruel, but he was positive, uplifting, and just a hero that was respected. He needed a code so he could remember who he was and who he was becoming. And that's the same for us. We need rules, we need regulations because with a code, you become a disciplined person. Without a code, you can become cruel, mean, and just very hard to deal with in life because life can get hard. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. And more often than not, a lot of things might go wrong before they go right when you want to try something new. And that's okay because with this code, you're developing who you want to be before any of the accolades. And that helped Matthew Murdoch become Daredevil. He saw that when he was out fighting crime and stopping supervillains or people on the street, he wasn't going to go that far to doing some very heinous things and turn him into a supervillain. He said that he was going to stop crime, not take people out forever. So he ended up using this and it helped him not only to grow as a superhero, but it helped people to respect him because people actually saw who he was and what he was about and respected it. Now everybody didn't like it, especially the villains and then the mobsters and people who were bad, especially all the people that were doing what they were doing and he was stopping. But they respected who he was. They knew what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do. You do the same for yourself. When we develop a code for who we're going to be and become, despite all of the things that happened to us that were bad or horrible, or even the pain that we were dealt in this life, makes you more respectable. People can respect the fact that you went through trials, tribulations, and things, yet you're still deciding to be a positive, uplifting, motivating force of nature. You're using it to grow you rather than letting it define you in a negative way. Because in this life, in this world, if you allow it, this world can, like Rocky said, beat you to your knees and keep you there. But if you decide to use what's going wrong and grow under the pressure, along with having a code, you'll come out on the other side a different person. because this life is somewhat like a pressure cooker. As you go through life, you're gonna come through, you're gonna go through changes, and you're going to shed off layers of yourself each and every time that you grow. And the only way that you can stay true to who you want to be, you have to have a code along with the systems and everything to stay resilient and transform into who you want to be. That is how Daredevil, Matthew Murdock, became Daredevil. It was from transformation, grit, loss, building systems, and then having a code. All of these things are interconnected. They helped him grow and become who, the man without fear, Daredevil. And right here, I have a mask for Daredevil that I enjoy wearing and like. And then here are a few comics. Here's Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. Zdarsky, I don't know how you say his name right, but it's called No Fear. I like this comic a lot. It's really cool and a modern take on Daredevil. And then this one is by multiple artists, and it has him with Doctor Doom and a lot of other notable superheroes. Spider Man's in it too. So just check out Daredevil. Look up anything. They've got the Netflix show. I can't wait for season two. Love season one, two on Disney Plus. But learn some things about Daredevil. Check him out. See what else you can find and pull from him. And then let me know what else that you saw from Daredevil that was entertaining and inspiring.